Hello and welcome back to Luxury Xplore. In today's video, we'll be delving into Fort Myers, Florida, which seems to be the quickest growing city in North America's fastest growing state. Fort Myers, Florida, originally a small beachside area, has now transformed into a bustling city filled with new developments, traffic, hotels, and luxury condos. This change was partly necessary due to the damage caused by Hurricane Ian in southwestern Florida last year. Essentially, Fort Myers reflects the broader changes occurring throughout Florida. Every week, 1,500 people move to Central Florida, attracted by the same qualities that are being tested by such quick expansion. The infrastructure can't keep up with the growth, leading to difficulties. It's not just coastal cities facing challenges from storms, although Florida gets hit often by tropical storms. In cities, it's easier to get money and permits for rebuilding after disasters. Yet, the boom in development across Florida often results in the same expensive and excessive hotels, offices, and condos, which are already plentiful. Florida has recently emerged as a symbol of American growth, quickly surpassing $1 trillion in revenue, and then reaching $1.4 trillion. It became the third most populous state in 2014, surpassing New York. But it still doesn't match New York's economic size. The growth in Florida is unique compared to other states in the US. Texas has grown because many big tech companies have moved there. Arizona's growth is due to attracting major microchip producers. Utah and Arizona have aimed to be alternative locations for major tech companies such as Adobe, Facebook, Microsoft, and Workforce. Meanwhile, some big banks are setting up in Palm Beach, and some mid-sized tech firms are starting up or moving to different cities in Florida. But Florida's economic development isn't as advanced as in other rapidly growing states. Florida's growth is more about expanding shopping areas, chain eateries, and tourist spots. It's not that Florida is a struggling state where people are leaving to find better places. In fact, Florida is the destination many Americans are moving to. However, Florida still faces significant challenges ahead, and it's not just about its increasing population or its unique geographic issues. While some states are dealing with economic downturns and losing residents, Florida's economy is struggling because it might be growing too quickly. This rapid success might not be as stable as it seems, indicating potential problems from the state. Essentially, there's a concern over whether Florida can sustain its growth without facing financial difficulties. CNBC recently praised Florida's economy for being very strong and balanced, highlighting its impressive growth and positive outlook. Indeed, Florida is thriving, with a low unemployment rate of 2.7% and has diversified its economy into modern sectors like semiconductors, aerospace, and fintech. It's also seeing significant growth in advanced manufacturing and attracting residents at a rate far surpassing most other states. People are choosing Florida over places like New York and California for its culture, low taxes, and opportunities. However, Florida has gone through boom periods before and is not immune to recessions. The state struggled during the Great Recession in 2007, was hit hard by oil shortages in the 1970s, saw the magic of Disney's arrival transform Central Florida, and experienced the rise and fall of its land boom in the 1920s. Florida has a history of economic ups and downs and is as affected by national economic challenges as any other state. Finding out that Florida was the fastest growing state in the US for the first time since 1957, we looked into why it attracted so many people in the 1950s. Basically, the growth was due to the new availability of air conditioning and the peak of the baby boom. This growth period didn't last long, but Florida kept growing at a slower pace and for different reasons. When growth slowed, developers in Florida began targeting the aging population of America from the 1960s, promoting Florida as an ideal place to retire with its affordable living costs and great weather. This approach has played a big role in Florida's economic and population growth ever since. Actually, if we only looked at natural changes in demographics, Florida's population would be decreasing. After years of being promoted as the top retirement destination in the US, Florida now relies heavily on older Americans to drive its housing market and support the development of planned communities. This has made Florida one of the oldest and quickest aging states in the country. This means that Florida's population, already dealing with some of the highest inflation in the nation, consists largely of older people with fixed incomes, many of whom are moving in from other states. Meanwhile, Florida's economy is largely based on physical labor and service jobs, leading to a significant labor shortage and a cost of living crisis. The rise in the cost of living in Florida, driven by wealthy seasonal residents and corporate investment firms, and the scarcity of family-supporting jobs are just part of the problem. The real issue is the increasing number of ordinary Floridians falling behind and the shrinking middle class, which highlights Florida's deeper financial problems. While it's hard to identify the exact cause of the state's significant inequality and high poverty levels, especially since Florida is known as a business-friendly place, it's clear that other business-friendly states manage growth more effectively. The main issue with Florida's economy seems to be its lack of diverse economic activities and a business environment that benefits those who are already well off. Simply put, while Florida's economy is growing, the state struggles to diversify and move into new, modern sectors of growth. As a result, Florida is aging and continues to depend too much on traditional industries like agriculture, tourism, and real estate, which offer limited future growth and low wages. Despite efforts to attract tech companies and support startups with incubators and accelerators, these sectors still dominate Florida's economy. For example, Disney alone, despite being based in Burbank, California, contributes to 2.5% of Florida's total economic output, highlighting the state's reliance on established industries. Water pollution and shortages pose a significant threat to Florida's agriculture, which is the state's third largest industry and heavily relies on extensive water use. Although the state's building codes have been updated over the years, they may not be sufficient to mitigate Florida's high risk of environmental damage, which continues to drive the real estate and construction sectors. However, many experts are concerned that Florida might be experiencing another housing bubble. Then there's the situation in Miami. Although Jacksonville is the largest city in Florida by population, with 971,000 residents, it's small compared to the Miami metropolitan area, which is the second largest urban area in the US and crucial for Florida's push toward financial, commercial, and international trade sectors, areas vital for the economic diversity Florida desperately needs. Despite this, Miami is seeing decline for the first time in over 50 years, as rising costs have forced the city's middle and working classes out, either to the suburbs or out of the metropolitan area entirely. This doesn't mean Florida's economy is heading for disaster. In fact, states like New York and California are dealing with even more uncertainty, while Mississippi and West Virginia are facing serious crises. However, when people talk about Florida's rapid and continuous growth as if it's always positive, it's important to consider the potential drawbacks of such unending expansion. And that concludes our video for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're interested in more contents like this, head over to Luxury Xplore and check out our other videos. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.